Got it. Okay, so today I want to show you how to build what I'm going to call the YouTube lead machine. And I want to make one distinction right at the beginning. This is not a class about becoming a YouTuber, and I'm not suggesting that you quit real estate, buy a ring light, and move into your parents' basement and start reviewing energy drinks. This is about using YouTube as a real estate lead generation platform. And what we're trying to build is a system where people are already thinking about buying a house, selling a house, moving into your market, investing in real estate, or just trying to understand what the heck is happening in real estate, find you. It's fundamentally different model from most real estate prospecting. Traditionally, we spend our lives chasing people. We call them, we text them, we email them, we buy leads from companies that sell the exact same lead to several other realtors, if you don't know that. The number of leads last year that came in from the major portals was more than 10 times the number of actual buyers in the marketplace because they keep getting resold. So we buy leads from companies that sell the exact leads to several other realtors, and then we call the poor consumer at roughly the same time. And that's always a pleasant experience for everybody involved. What I want to show you today is how to move from chasing business to attracting business. It's really an exciting piece that of artificial intelligence has made this really dramatically easier. AI can help us figure out what to talk about, how to write descriptions, how to create titles, how to repurpose videos, how to write blog posts, how to create social media content, and help one piece of video content travel much farther than it ever could before. So it's not just a YouTube strategy, it's really about content and authority strategy, with YouTube sitting at the center of the machine. Let me kind of explain where this comes from. I think most of you know that last week, Teresa and I went out to the Tom Ferry event. There were 5,000 people in the room. Small fortune to get to these Tom Ferry events, but the number of people it attracts is huge. In the room were the CEOs of Coldwell Banker, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, the CEO of EXP, all listening to the same stuff we were because it's so cutting edge. They've got so much stuff right on the edge of what's working. It's incredible. Wassel was texting me this morning that the latest NAR statistics just came out from January 1st this year to August 1st this year. 79% of agents in the country did not sell a single house. That's unreal, absolutely unreal. But it is happening. But you're going to find on the other end, there are agents, even in our markets, that have been in the marketplace 2 or 3 or 4 years that are just killing it. There was an agent on Facebook the other day and Instagram that is in our local market that I won't name that did 7 transactions in July, and she's been in the business all of 3 years. And did she choose the right broker? No, that has nothing to do with it. She's got a very strong online presence, and she's been able to make people like her before she actually meets them. And I talked about this earlier with AI, where 84% of people, I think it is, I think I probably have the statistic in here, are now going to AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, because Gemini's built into all Android phones now, and asking questions about real estate. And half of them are asking, who's the top agent in my area? And most people aren't showing up. And it's not because the AI actually finds the top agent. It's because the AI finds the agents that are online and appearing places. And it's really changing the dynamic of how people are found. Now, this is a little bit of a longer term strategy. In this half day session that we spent in California, we were 3 full days, but in the half day they spent talking about this type of content marketing. They went into a deep dive on what works and what doesn't, and they've been working with about 170 realtors nationwide to make sure that their system actually worked. And some of these people started getting leads within 90 days. Some of them got a lot of leads within a year. So it's a longer term strategy, but it's not a real long term strategy. It actually can work fairly quickly. If you need business right now, and I'm going to say this over and over and over again, I'm going to resend this link out later on today. I did this last month, and I've done it more than once, and we'll have a few more coming up. But the one-a-day CMA program, one of the things they started the program with out in California was, how many of you are doing this? And all this has nothing to do with YouTube, but all this is every morning while you're having your cup of coffee, go to your list of past clients, whoever's in your phone or your sphere of influence or your social network, and pick out 3 or 4 people that you know their address, particularly if they're a past client. and go to Zillow and look up on your phone, look up the property that they live in, screenshot it because it'll tell you what it supposedly is worth, and send that screenshot to the person that you know that likes and trusts you already, and just say, hey, I looked up your house on Zillow this morning. This is what it says it's worth. That's pretty interesting. I know what I think. What do you think? That's it. Just send that. Top agent for Century 21 in the state of Pennsylvania. This is the only thing he does. He sends out 5 a day to past clients. He hits them every 90 days. It reminds them he's in real estate. It shows them that he's being relevant. And when they start thinking about real estate, not only do they call him back, but they also refer him more often because he's communicating with them regularly on real estate. That's one way to build business fast, and everybody should be doing that every day. Now, getting off that for a second, let's talk about something long-term and what we call attraction techniques. The gentleman that was out in California that spent half a day with us, and there were a lot of people on stage talking about this, just released a book about a week and a half ago called Crazy Simple YouTube. It's about $20 on Amazon, so if you want to buy it, go ahead. It's a great book to lay out a real estate prospecting system using YouTube as the platform. Now, 3 days ago, I started building out Teresa's, and I just started building it out, and there's already 4 followers, which is kind of interesting. But I'll kind of get into what it is. The other thing is this guy, Aaron Chuha, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, has a YouTube page that has all sorts of videos that are free that you can watch a lot of this stuff on how to start generating a subscriber base. Again, I'm not telling you should be selling products from your basement. I'm saying build a real estate business that attracts clients to you using YouTube as a platform. And I'm going to explain why this is important right now when it wasn't probably 2 years ago. And it's working again. Why should we even care about it right now? Because again, the way consumers search for real estate information is changing incredibly quickly. Realtor.com just released some research last month that found that 82% of Americans are using AI in some fashion for real estate insights. Think about how dramatic that is. People aren't just going to Google anymore and typing houses for sale near me. They're not just going to Zillow. They're asking ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude and Perplexity and whatever other AI is popular questions like, what's the best neighborhood to live in around Allentown? Where should I live if I'm commuting to New York? What are the pros and cons of relocating to the Poconos? What's the best lake community near Lake Wallenpaupack? And who's a good realtor in Bethlehem? Now, by the way, you can actually search the top searched questions on Gemini. You can see them by asking Gemini what the top search questions in real estate in my area are, and those are some of the questions. And that last question ought to get your attention. Number 5 was, who is a good realtor in Bethlehem? Because increasingly, we aren't just trying to rank on Google, we're trying to become the entity the internet understands. And one of the ways we can accomplish that is by creating a large body of relevant content about our marketplace. And by the way, when we were out there in California, they turned this entire thing on its head. Everything I've done on YouTube has apparently been wrong. And it's really interesting to see the people who, over the last 12 months, have used this system and built it and actually created huge followings, but also created business. So YouTube videos, blog posts, Reddit feeds, LinkedIn articles, and website content all coalesced to where AI finds it and then recommends people. Not so much Facebook, unfortunately. And every time you create another good piece of content about your market, you're essentially leaving another digital breadcrumb saying, I know this area, I work here, I understand the marketplace. Now, the second statistic on this slide comes from the real estate video strategy material we're working from today. Which cities, which sites very substantial home buyer usage of YouTube. But even without arguing over one particular percentage, the strategic point is pretty clear. Consumers are using video to research major decisions. And buying a house is not a minor decision. Nobody watches 17 videos before deciding which toothpaste to buy, although I'm sure someone on YouTube does. But people absolutely will watch an hour or 2 of content before deciding where to move, what neighborhood they like, what kind of house they can afford, and eventually which realtor they trust enough to call, and that's opportunity. One of the things I did when I was teaching for the Century 21 and Anywhere Real Estate of the Caribbean, we had some of these offices build out neighborhood videos, and I wish we had done more of it here. You can do that throughout the Poconos, you can do it throughout the Lehigh Valley, where you do a video of the neighborhood. And even 3 or 4 years ago, when we started doing that, they gained traction. And some of these videos have thousands of views because people want to compare neighborhoods and they want to see what each one has, particularly when they have amenities like lakefront type stuff. So this is all an opportunity. And I'm sure that, well, anyway, I'll get back to that in a minute. So the old assumption is that we post content on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok that are short and entertaining, and that's still important. But the lifespan of that content is usually only a day or two. 73% of consumers are now looking for properties on YouTube. And YouTube is owned by Google, and Gemini is owned by Google, one of the most powerful AIs out there, one of the top AI models, which is on every Android phone. And the content you post there will stay up for years and compounds over time. So on YouTube, people are searching for education, and that educational content helps us to be found in searches, both on Google and particularly in AI. And that's what we're going to look at today. This is probably the biggest conceptual shift in the whole presentation. I don't want you thinking about YouTube the way you think about Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. Think about YouTube as Google with a play button. On Facebook or Instagram, I'm generally interrupting you. You're looking at a bunch of pictures from your cousin's vacation, somebody else's lunch, a dog wearing sunglasses, an AI creation that I created of a dog wearing sunglasses, and suddenly there's Lauren talking about mortgage rates. You didn't ask for Lauren. Lauren just happened to you. That's social media. YouTube is different. People specifically go to YouTube and search, moving to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, living in Easton, Pennsylvania, homes for sale at Hemlock Farms. What does $500,000 buy you in the Lehigh Valley? What are the best neighborhoods near Moravian College? That's intent. And intent matters enormously because there's a gigantic difference between somebody who accidentally sees your video and somebody who deliberately searches for the exact question that your video answers. And that's why I want you to stop obsessing over raw view counts. A video with 150 views that produces 2 buyer consultations could be infinitely more valuable to your business than a video with 20,000 views of something funny that produces absolutely nothing. And unfortunately, that's a lot of what I've been producing. We're not trying to be famous. I mean, fame would be lovely, obviously. I've already selected several sunglasses that I'd wear when paparazzi become a problem. But the actual objective is qualified conversations. The person who watches 3 or 4 of your videos may start to feel like they know you long before they ever call you. And that changes the entire relationship when that call finally happens. So what we're going to create on YouTube, or try to create, is quite different than what you might be used to. We're used to creating 2-minute or 3-minute home tours, sometimes 90-second home tours. And we do this because, hey, who wants to watch more than 3 minutes, right? And we pay Anthony Andrew or somebody else to create highly polished, professional edited videos with beautiful music playing in the background. That's great, but it isn't what ranks us on Google or any of the AI models. And that's something I didn't understand until I was listening to these people who are doing 400 transactions a year explaining what worked. What works is following their algorithm, which is long form videos. They need to be 10 to 18 minutes in average length, and I'll explain how to do that. They should be raw, unedited flow. And I know this is going to scare most of you, but it also can be done for free. And you have to be talking on video to use keywords that'll help Google to find you. Let me say that again. When we pay somebody to do a beautiful video with a drone tour and music in the background, it doesn't rank the same way. If instead you use your camera phone or a camera on a gimbal or a camera on a selfie stick and walk through the house and explain it as if you're showing the house, Google ranks that significantly higher and starts pushing that because it takes the audio and turns it into searchable keyword text. And that searchable keyword text actually helps you to show up. I know that sounds crazy, but that's exactly the way it's working. And that is what's helping to promote some of the stuff that's out there online and push one realtor over another. So longer form, and they don't have to be professional and polished. In fact, it's better if it's not. One of the top agents that was at this event said that at one point he dropped his phone and it skittered across the floor, and he picked it up and started talking again. And he said that video has gotten so many views and comments on it because he showed the reality of it. So we'll talk about that as well. So here's really truly wonderful news. The great news is most realtors are terrible at this. And I mean that with enormous affection. Most agents still don't want to be on camera. They'll put 27 glamour filters on a photo of themselves, but apparently hearing their own voice for 8 minutes is where they draw the line. So the competitive bar in many local markets is incredibly low. What do most agents do? They post some listing photographs. Maybe they create a 45-second montage with dramatic music. They may pay Anthony or somebody else to do a beautiful drone shot. They have a kitchen, a primary bathroom, the deck, the swimming pool, a view of the mountains or the lake, some inspirational piano in the background, and nobody says anything, which means YouTube has very little context for what the video is actually about. Then the agent posts 3 videos. The first one gets 74 views, including their family members. The second one gets 51 views. The third gets 38. The agent decides YouTube doesn't work. And that's roughly the equivalent of going to the gym Monday, exercising through Thursday, and saying, I've checked the mirror and it appears it didn't work. It's a scam. The opportunity here is consistency, and Google rewards you for consistency. And again, everything flows from this stuff. So if you're willing to answer very specific local questions and create useful videos and keep publishing at least once a week, and I'll get into that in a minute, while everybody else quits, you start accumulating digital real estate. And unlike Facebook posts, which have a shelf life of an avocado, a YouTube video can continue being found through searches months or years later. And as the library grows, the ranking on Google and the ranking on these AI models grows as well. So we're creating an asset library. Every video becomes another salesperson working for you. And these salespeople don't need health insurance, don't ask for weekends off, and almost never complain about commission splits. So we need to build these out. Now, a study that the Ferry organization put out shows that if you do 1 video per week consistently, and it must be consistent, you've got to do one every 7 days or sooner, you'll grow 5,000 to 8,000 subscribers within a year. They did this by testing 170 agents in 170 markets. They had people that were in small markets and large markets. They had that didn't do any of this stuff before. And all of them did well with it, which is why I'm kind of excited by this. If you do 3 videos a week, you'll get 25,000 to 35,000 subscribers. And again, they've tested this all over the country. 5 videos a week can lead to 100,000 subscribers. Now, we don't care how many subscribers, we care how many leads we get. A typical agent, based on their research, is getting between 1 and 3 closed transactions per 1,000 subscribers. So if you do a video a week for 52 weeks and you get 6,000 subscribers, you get somewhere around 12 to 18 transactions from the YouTube channel. Now, again, this builds like a wave. And they went through this whole process with us, which was why it's so fascinating. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples. Before we get into how to build this, I want to take the excuses off the table, because every one of you is already running an objection in your head, and I'd rather answer it now than have it sitting there for the next 40 minutes. And by the way, I know it's hard to get anybody to do anything these days. When I talk about the 1-a-day CMA, which I talked about right at the beginning, that's something that takes 15 minutes in the morning, and I think there are 4 of you doing it. That is something that is a very powerful prospecting tool, and most people won't do it. So this is going to take more effort, more work, but we're trying to do something that builds attraction back to you, and that's what we're trying to create here. So again, here are 4 people that did this within the last 2 years, last 24 months, and none of them had a budget. Arando Nava, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name right, he kills it. I don't have time or production quality is what he said. He's from Texas. He did 5 property tours a week, so he did a lot. Every day, for 5 days a week, he would go out to a house. He'd get his phone hooked onto a selfie stick or a gimbal. And I want to be precise about this. No edits, no light edits, none, no makeup. He just walks through the house and talks about it, the house as he walks through, and he uploads it. Again, this is the guy who dropped the phone. 265,000 subscribers. This past year, he did $5 million in gross commissions. Now, that's not $5 million in sales. That's $5 million in gross commissions. Around $150,000, $5 million in gross commissions. You would like to do 100,000 in gross commissions. He's not out producing anybody. He's out publishing everybody. Rachel Smith kills the idea that my market's too small. She's in Big Bear, California, population only 17,000. That's smaller than some of your neighborhoods. 3 videos a week, shot on her phone. And here's the part people don't believe. She leaves the mistakes in. Wind noise, fumbling with the lockbox, not being able to get it on, not being able to find a light switch. All of that stays in the video. She closed 48 deals in the last 12 months that she says are directly from YouTube leads. She's now got 10% market share in her market. She's not the biggest agent in Big Bear because she's the most polished. She's the biggest agent in Big Bear because she's the most human. She shows up 3 times a week and everybody sees her. Now, I mentioned this earlier. A couple of years ago, Chris Stager from Century 21 Pinnacle started going out and every week he did 2 or 3 different videos a week. Now, these are short form. Now, we're talking about long form, but he did short form videos. One of them was go to a different business every week. There was like Tuesdays, Business Tuesdays or something. And he'd let him know he was coming ahead of time, and he'd walk in with his camera on a stick and say, hey, I want to show you the best barber in the area. I want to show you the best hairdresser in the area. I want to show you the best pizza place in the area. And walk in and talk to the owner for about 90 seconds and post that. And the owners would share it, and their friends would share it. And he built great business. And by the way, those business owners also referred him business themselves and helped him build his career. The other agent that I'm not going to mention, in 3 years of being in business, brand new, closed 7 transactions in July. And she posts a short 30 to 60 second video, and she's only doing the short form on Instagram and Facebook every morning, just a short one. But she has a lot of followers now because she's consistent. This is taking it to another level. Okay. Now, again, this particular one, Rachel Smith, does 3 a week. Daniel Culla. Now, he is out in Prague. And I have to say this with respect. He is not a natural on camera. If you get a chance to look at his videos, he is not a natural on camera. He only does 1 video a week. Every week, 1 million euros in gross closed commissions, which is about $1.2 million in income here from YouTube this year alone. And he didn't win on talent. He won on doing this consistently. So what does that mean for you specifically? Here's the number I want you to hold on to. For every 1,000 subscribers, you get 1 to 3 closed transactions per year. Not views, not likes, but actual closings. So when you get to 5,000 subscribers, which is where that 1 video a week puts you in a year, you're looking at 5 to 15 additional deals. So run your own average commission against that number right now. Not one of these agents is better looking, better spoken, or better funded than the people on this Zoom today. The only thing they did is hit record, which is something you haven't done. Now, you don't have to copy any particular person's personality. In fact, I don't think you should. The internet's already sufficiently has one of each of us. That's probably sufficient. What we want to copy are the patterns. One model is the high frequency property and real estate channel. Agents like Armando that we talked about in Texas. Another model is simply volume. In this slide, I've got Patrick O'Connor. He's an example of somebody producing content at a very high cadence. Another one is Lay Courage. Actually, I would look up her YouTube channel, Lay Courage. It's not that hard to find. She's in Washington State. She creates videos around questions people are actually thinking about. It's the same thing that this agent in the Valley is doing, but she's doing 90 seconds, where the one in Washington State's doing 10-minute videos. Where should I retire? Is Washington State too expensive to live in? What are the best cities in Washington State to live in? What are the politics like in Washington State? That's a tricky one. Those videos may not be about any particular listing at all. They're about the decision that happens before the real estate transaction. And that's incredibly important. The number of followers she has is absolutely incredible in a year and a half. You don't have to wait until somebody says, I'd like to buy 123 Main Street. You want to reach them 6 months earlier when they're searching, should I move to the Lehigh Valley? Should I move to the Poconos? That's when you begin the relationship. And then you've got the authenticity model illustrated in strategy materials by agents like Rachel Smith. Property tours that are not Hollywood productions. They're useful, conversational, and they're real. She opens the pantry. She looks how big it is. She says what's right or wrong with it. She might show the inside of the dishwasher, which is kind of interesting. She fights with the lockbox, but that's okay because the viewer starts to feel like they're walking through a property with an actual realtor. And when we examine successful real estate channels, we keep seeing 4 things: search intent, repetition, authenticity, being you, and always end with a call to action. And I'll get to that in a minute. Those four things are much more important than whether or not you own a $12,000 camera. And so it brings us back to the strategic shift. Stop making videos that you think are cool and start making videos that consumers are actually searching for. And that one change could completely alter the results you get from video. Most of us naturally make content from our perspective. Hey, I just got the listing. Hey, I just sold the house. Congratulations to my wonderful clients. And there's nothing wrong with those posts. But ask yourself this: would a stranger search for the couple that just sold the house? Probably not. We want to get in front of them, those consumers that are searching, what's it like living in Emmaus, Pennsylvania? What is it like moving to Allentown, Pennsylvania? What are the pros and cons of living in the Poconos? Hemlock Farms homes for sale. What is the average sales price in Lake Wallenpaupack area? What does $700,000 buy in Lake Wallenpaupack? Are the property taxes high in Pennsylvania? That's one of the questions being asked on Google. Should I buy now or should I wait until interest rates come down? Those are all consumer questions. And once you start answering those questions, your content shifts from advertising to information. And by the way, you can go to ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these large language models, Claude, whatever you're using, and ask them, what search terms or what questions are people asking Google or AI now that might be relevant for me to create short videos on to explain it? And it'll give you a list. It'll even tell you what you might want to include in what you say. And that information builds authority. And the other major shift here is production. We have been trained to believe that good real estate video has to look like HGTV. Professional cinematography, drone footage, music, a slow motion shot of the faucet. And apparently every luxury home requires a 12-second emotional relationship with a kitchen faucet for some reason. But the strategy we're talking about favors a much more conversational approach. Walk through the property, talk about the property, explain the property, point things out, give your opinion, tell viewers what you like, tell them what you don't like. And that's what an actual buyer wants from an agent. And here's the line that I want you to remember. Pretty gets attention, but useful builds trust. And what we're after right now is trust. Now I want to go through actually building the machine. I'm not going to go through the steps of creating a channel because it's just technical and it's easy, and you can find 100 different videos of that on YouTube on how to create your YouTube channel. You pull down your menu, you hit YouTube, and you hit create channel. But setting that aside, I want you to think of your YouTube channel like an opening of a store. Before you invite customers inside, somebody should probably put a sign on the building. That's your channel name. And I strongly encourage most of us, and I did this wrong on Teresa's, by the way, most of us would put your name, youtube.com/Lauren in the title. Instead, you should put the market that you're trying to attract. And by the way, once you set one up, you can set up more than one. One of the interesting things this guy in Texas did, he's got like 10 different channels now that are targeted at different markets because it's working so well. But anyway, try and use that channel name and make it the market instead of your personal name. Instead of the Bill Smith channel, consider the Living in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania with Bill Smith channel, or the Hemlock Farms Real Estate with Susan Jones channel, or Living in Real Estate Northwestern Lehigh, which is what we ended up titling Teresa's, because nobody's searching for Bill Smith, at least not yet. You shouldn't say that. Your mother might be, maybe your second cousin, maybe potential several creditors, but the buyers aren't searching for that. They're searching the market. So connect your name to something they've already searched for. And second, create a banner, and I'll show you that in a minute. You all have a Canva account. We're paying something toward that. I know most of you aren't using it, but you all have a Canva account. And many of the admins know how to help you with it. Many of the coordinators in the offices know how to help you with that. It does not have to be complicated. And tell people immediately, what market do you serve? What kind of content will you provide? And how can they contact you? The banner should answer those questions visually in about 2 seconds. Please don't use 14 fonts. This is YouTube, not a ransom note. And then third, your bio. This is an incredibly easy place to use AI. You ask AI, you go to ChatGPT or you go to Gemini. Gemini's probably better for this because it's already connected to Google. And say, I want you to help me build a YouTube channel. So please let me know what I need. And it's going to tell you need a bio. It's going to tell you need certain things in it and you need certain keywords. So you might tell Gemini or ChatGPT, write a YouTube channel description for a realtor, me, specializing in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. make it appealing to buyers, sellers, and relocation clients, include these communities or these property types or these local search phrases. And it will give you the first draft in about 10 seconds. And you can cut and paste that into your bio on YouTube. I also didn't know, and I don't know that I have it in these slides because I put them together yesterday, but I don't know if I have in here. YouTube now has blog posts that are written that you can actually add to your YouTube channel as well that people can comment on. And that gives it content as well. So everything we're going to build has content. And the fourth thing you're going to do is create playlists. Now, this is something agents underestimate. We don't just create a playlist called videos. That provides approximately the same amount of information as labeling your refrigerator food. Create playlists around searches. So we're going to ultimately have some homes for sale in there. We're going to have some information on living there. We're going to have some sold properties in there, and we're going to have market updates. So you're going to create 4 playlists. Let's say we use Hemlock Farms as an example. Homes for sale in Hemlock Farms becomes your first playlist. You might not have nothing in it yet, but homes for sale in Hemlock Farms. Second one might be living in Hemlock Farms. And this is where you're going to get your most bang for your buck as you do videos once a week. And incidentally, you could create 4 videos today, just share them on your phone, and then just post one this week, and then one next Tuesday, and one the next Tuesday, so that you're hitting that 7-day trend. Third one is going to be sold homes in Hemlock Farms. Homes for sale, living in Hemlock Farms, and sold homes in Hemlock Farms. And then you might put in market updates, Hemlock Farms market updates. Or you might include another one, just a broader, Lake Wall and Paul Pack Real Estate. Because you're both teaching viewers and search engines what your channel is about. Your channel is about the area. Now, this is the one I was talking about, Lay Courage in Washington State. Not a big marketplace. Here's some of the stuff that she has posted. And you can see this. She started a year ago, 85,000 subscribers, and she's got dozens of sales. And everybody thinks they know her just from these videos. And again, these do not have to be high quality videos. 10 best U.S. cities to buy a home. Washington State housing has changed forever. 5 bills you probably don't know about. Now, where did that come from? She probably asked ChatGPT what would be a great negative headline that would attract attention and viewers. Now, look at this. 176,000 views. Now, views don't matter. What matters is the people who then reach out to her and say, I think I know you now. I'd like to buy a property from you, or I'd like to sell one. Too costly? Retiring in Washington State? Here's what you need to know. 50,000 views. Could somebody here create a video in about 20 minutes saying, is it too costly to live in Pennsylvania? Why retirees choose Pennsylvania over New York? Is that something that we could even get ChatGPT to lay out a structure of a quick talk on and talk to a camera or talk to your Zoom for 10 minutes? By the way, we do have a Zoom account for the company that you can use if you'd like to and record stuff and download it right away. It doesn't save it for a long period of time, but you can download it and you can use that if you want to use Zoom. Washington State is changing rapidly. Find out everything that's happening now. Now, this is her living in Washington. Washington Real Estate, the Unfiltered Truth with Lay Courage. The headline is all about Washington State, not about herself. And that's worked really well. So I created this 2 days ago. I'm not done with it yet. But we created this video where we repurposed the videos we've done in the past. Now, the problem with these videos are, Teresa's not talking. It's just sound. It's beautiful music. It's drone tours. But I wanted something up. And then we'll start building out the other channels that are part of this, which is going to be information about the community, information about news and market updates. Already picked up 4 subscribers. We've only just started putting stuff up. But we did post a lot of our videos from some of the sales in the past. Now, this is Living and Real Estate Northwestern Lehigh, because that's the headline. That's what catches attention. And then we created a description that we used AI to create that's pretty long. And every one of these videos, we had AI recreate the video and put in the video put in the description some keywords early on that explain that we're trying to attract people to find us. And it was very powerful the way it worked. It actually is pretty great. So keyword discovery. Before you make the video, we need to figure out whether anybody actually wants the video. It's one of my favorite parts because YouTube will basically tell you what people are searching for. Go to the YouTube search bar and just type in living in Bethlehem and stop typing. Look at the autocomplete. YouTube might suggest living in Bethlehem, PA. Living in Bethlehem, PA, the pros and cons. Living in Bethlehem, PA, the cost of living. What are the best neighborhoods in Bethlehem, PA? That's actually what it came up with. Where do these suggestions come from? They are based on what people are actually searching. So rather than sitting at your desk thinking, I wonder what fascinating topic would the public enjoy hearing about from me today? That's dangerous territory. Start with what consumers are actually interested in. And we can find that by just typing stuff into Google. Then we can take those terms. Now you can, as you get more advanced, spend a little bit of money and go to TubeBuddy or Keywords Anywhere, everywhere. TubeBuddy will help you to restructure everything in a format that is found more easily. But you're looking at two things. You want search volume and you want competition, particularly for realtors. You don't necessarily need enormous search volume. Suppose only 100 or 200 people a month search a very specific phrase, like, what's it like to live in Hemlock Farms? If those 100 people are actively thinking about buying a $600,000 home in your marketplace, that's not a small audience. There's a room full of prospects. The strategy briefing the book also recommends what I call R&D method, which is research and duplicate. So what's happening that's doing well somewhere else, steal it. Go find 5 or 10 successful real estate YouTube channels, not somebody who's on HGTV, it's anybody else, and look at their most popular videos. What topics keep appearing? And you're going to find that the topics that come up are pros and cons, cost of living, moving to, things nobody tells you about, best neighborhoods to live in, and what $500,000 buys you in. Now don't copy their script, copy their question. And then answer it for your marketplace, your neighborhood, your township, your county. The golden rule is high intent and manageable competition gives you local specificity. That's where our opportunities hide. Again, pros and cons, cost of living, moving to, things nobody tells you, best neighborhoods, and what $500,000 buys are the top terms. We can create videos on those for every neighborhood if everybody's doing them. Now we get into something I think is really important. YouTube doesn't merely look at the title of your video. It transcribes the words that you're saying. So if your title says Hemlock Farms Homes for Sale, and your video opens with, hey everybody, it's Bill. Beautiful day. By the way, I'm not picking on Bill. We've got like 4 of them in the company. Beautiful day today. Hope everybody's doing great. So my wife and I went to dinner last night, and that's how most of my videos open. We spent the first 30 seconds discussing virtually everything except Hemlock Farms real estate. You have to train the program to start with your keywords first. So you've got to open with, and I'm going to record this so that you can play this back if you want to. If you're looking for homes for sale in Hemlock Farms, wait until you see this contemporary home just minutes from the lake. Let me say that again. Don't open with, hey, it's Bill here. Hey, it's Lauren here. Hey, it's Teresa here. Open with, if you're looking for homes for sale in Hemlock Farms, wait until you see this contemporary home just minutes from the lake. We've stuffed that with keywords. Contemporary home, lake, Hemlock Farm, homes for sales. All in the first sentence. And several things happen immediately. The viewer knows why they should keep watching. And the words that you're saying reinforce the subject title. That creates an alignment between the title, description, and the spoken content. And that allows it to rank higher on Google and YouTube. So what you type in the title, what you write in the description, you've got to also say verbally in the video. Those should all be talking about the same thing. That doesn't mean you need to sound ridiculous. Please don't walk through a house and say Hemlock Farms Real Estate, Hemlock Farms Real Estate, Hemlock Farms for Real Estate for sale. At that point, YouTube may understand you, but the homeowner may call security. Use your keywords naturally. And your description should not simply say, beautiful house, call me. You've got to give YouTube context. You've got to describe the home. You've got to describe the community. You have to mention the location. You should mention nearby amenities, and you should add your contact information. You should add links. And you always have to have a call to action at the end. Give the search engine enough information to understand exactly who should see the video. And again, the words you're saying reinforce the subject of the title. It's called semantic listening because YouTube, Google, and AIs pick up the audio content and give higher credibility to the audio content than what you wrote in the description, which is why the videos we've been doing don't work. And they have to match. This again is alignment between the title, the description, and the spoken content. You've got to think of it as a triangle. What you type in the title, you write in the description, and you say in the video. And all combined helps you get ranked, get noticed. Now let's put the video together. I want to give you a really simple framework. Every good video needs four things. I've got them on the screen: the hook, the value, the trust, and a call to action. First, the hook. First 30 seconds matter enormously. Again, don't begin with, "Hey, I'm Lauren Kime with Century 21, and I've been selling real estate for 1,000 years. Nobody cares. I may be absolutely fascinating, but I haven't earned that assumption." Start with the property or the problem. Hey, if you're thinking about moving to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I'm going to show you 5 neighborhoods you absolutely need to know, and one that surprises almost everybody. Or if you're looking for a home in Hemlock Farms, this one is something almost none of the competing homes have. Now I've created a reason for them to stay. That's our hook. Second is value. And by the way, you can go into AI and you can ask it, "I want to create a description of this property, and I want you to give me a hook, a value, trust, and a call to action." Second is value. Teach them something. If it's a property tour, don't simply say, "Hey, here's the kitchen. I can see it's a kitchen." Open the pantry. Show me the storage. Show me the backyard. Tell me pros and cons, whether the layout works. Now, you're going to have to tell your sellers ahead of time. I'm going to say some negative things, but it gets the videos watched more. Explain where the bedrooms are. Tell me what kind of buyer you think the house fits. And if you're doing a video, a market video, actually answer the question. Don't tease the answer for 11 minutes like cable news program. The third is trust. This is where a longer form video becomes powerful. Give nuance. Talk about trade-offs. If you're talking about moving to community, don't tell viewers everything is fantastic or magnificent. Nothing's magnificent. Even Disney World has lines in a $7 bottle of water. If property taxes are high, say that. If commuting can be difficult, explain it. If the community has tremendous amenities but higher HOA fees, talk about both. When you're willing to explain the downside, people will trust the upside more. And then finally, your CTA, your call to action. Never finish a video and simply disappear. Tell them exactly what to do next. Hey, if you'd like to see this house, call or text me. Hey, if you're considering moving to Lehigh Valley, I've created a relocation guide. The link is down below. Click and I'll send it to you. Hey, if you're thinking about selling, contact me and I'll prepare a market analysis with you. No obligation. If you'd like my free home buyer guide, stay till the end and I'll tell you exactly where to get it. Every video needs a destination because our objective is not views. Our objective is conversations. And ultimately, the viewer should finish that video thinking, this person knows the market. This person tells me things I actually need to know. And this person seems like somebody I could be comfortable in calling. And that's when YouTube stops being a video platform and starts becoming a lead machine. Now, I want to talk about one of the easiest types of content for realtors to create, and that's the property tour. I want you to forget again for a moment what we've historically thought a real estate video was supposed to look like. We don't need dramatic music or drone transitions or slow motion shot of the front door opening while somebody plays inspirational piano. We're trying to create an experience of walking through the house with a really knowledgeable realtor. So think of the camera as a buyer. Pretend you're FaceTiming a smart friend who couldn't make it to the showing. Start with the most interesting thing about the property. If the house has an incredible view, show me the view. If it has 5 acres, start outside. If it's lakefront, for heaven's sake, don't spend the first 3 minutes showing me the laundry room. Lead with a reason somebody should care about the property. Then walk through the property logically. Outside exterior, entry, main living area, kitchen, bedrooms, lower level, yard. You can even walk the neighborhood and talk while you're doing it. But the really important thing is tell me things I can't learn from the listing photographs. Open the pantry, open the closets, show me the inside of the garage, open a cabinet, show me the laundry room, walk outside and let me hear whether there's road noise. Show me how close the neighbor actually is. And if the clubhouse is 2 blocks away, show it. If we're in Hemlock Farms, explain what the amenities are. If we're near Lake Wallenpaupack, give me context about the lake. That's what creates value. And I also want you to be willing to point out trade-offs. You don't need to sell every closet like it's for size. If the primary bedroom's small, you can say the primary bedroom isn't enormous, but what they've done is trade some bedroom space for a much larger living area. That honesty builds credibility because buyers know every house has compromises. If you're standing in a 1972 bathroom with an avocado tile and you describe it as timeless elegance, everybody knows you're lying. And once they catch you exaggerating that bathroom, they start questioning everything else you do. So the goal isn't to convince everybody that this is the perfect house. The goal is to help the right buyer understand the house. And that's why I love the phrase on this slide. Raw beats fake. Useful beats pretty. Pretty's fine, but useful is what makes somebody call you, and that's what we want. So again, you may think 12 to 18 minutes is a long time, but it isn't really when you're showing a house and when you're showing a neighborhood. And that's the sweet spot that gets you ranked. Getting over that 12-minute mark is where you start getting ranked. Now, property tours are terrific, but I don't want your channel to become nothing but properties. The listings come and go, and the market remains. So market and area videos are where you really begin establishing yourself as authority on the community. But think about questions somebody asks before they ever call a realtor. What's it like living in Bethlehem? What's the real cost to live in Hemlock Farms? Which Lake Wallenpaupack communities should I consider? Is Northwestern Lehigh getting more expensive? What are the property taxes in the area? How bad's the commute? Where should I live if I want more acreage? These are all phenomenal YouTube topics. And notice how different they are from, hey, I'm Lauren Kyman. Today I'd like to discuss my many accomplishments. There may be a surprisingly limited search audience for that one. The consumer doesn't care about us. They care about their problem, and that's perfectly reasonable. So I want you to think about 6 basic categories. One is living in the area, pros and cons, lifestyle, schools, commuting, restaurants in the area, recreation, and community. Second one's cost and taxes. How much does it actually cost to live there? What are the HOA fees? What are the property taxes, the utilities, and housing prices? Third one is neighborhoods. What are the best communities for families? Lake communities, walkable areas. Where's more acreage? What's more luxurious? Condos, retirement. And then market updates, I think is the next one. Actually, I think I have moving to the city first. No, I can do market updates. Inventory, prices, days on market, buyer competition, and seller opportunities. What's happening in the market? Relocation. What surprises people who move here? That's a headline that works well. What surprises people who move to the Poconos? What do people wish they knew before moving to the Poconos? What are 5 things people wish they knew before moving to the Poconos? And then seller education. Should I sell now or should I wait? What improvements matter? How do I price my house? What's happening with inventory in the market? And here's the beautiful thing about these videos. Property videos may bring somebody into your channel. Area and advisory videos can make them think this person really knows the market, and that's where the authority develops. So if I'm building a channel for Northwestern Lehigh, I don't just want videos of houses. I want somebody researching the school district to fall into a rabbit hole of my content. They watch Living in Northwestern Lehigh, then a video on what 600,000 buys Northwestern Lehigh, then 5 things people don't know about Northwestern Lehigh, then Northwestern Lehigh market update. 45 minutes later, they may know more about me than several members of my extended family, and that's powerful. Because now they're ready to make that move, and I'm not a stranger. I'm the person who's been answering their questions for the last 6 months. And this slide is really important because realtors sometimes do an excellent job of creating content and then forget the part where we ask for business. So we create video, we educate everybody, we answer their questions, we give away 20 years of experience, and then we end with, well, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And the viewer thinks, you too. That's lovely. It's also difficult to deposit in your bank account. Every video needs one more clear step, not 14, just one. If it's a buyer video, offer a buyer guide. If you're thinking about moving to Lehigh Valley, I've put together a complete buyer strategy guide. Call or text me and I'll send it to you. If it's a property tour, if you'd like to see this house or you'd like me to find you something similar, call or text me. If it's seller content, if you're curious about what your home would sell for in today's market, give me a call and I'll prepare a strategy for you. If you have a relocation video you've done, if you're considering moving here, schedule a 15-minute orientation call with me. I'll help you figure out which communities you should actually be looking at. And you can also create lead magnets, and AI will help you do this. A relocation guide, a lake community guide, first-time buyer guide, seller preparation guide. And we've got a lot of these for you, by the way. Investment property guide, whatever makes sense for your niche. And one thing I'd like teasing that value early in the video. By the way, I put together the craziest home buyer guide we've ever created. Before we're finished, I'll tell you exactly how to get it. Now I've given somebody another reason to stay. But here's the key. Don't confuse people. Subscribe, like, comment, call me, text me, download 7 PDFs, follow me on Facebook, connect with me on LinkedIn, join my newsletter, and send a carrier pigeon. That's confusing. Give them one most logical next call to action. And remember, the purpose of YouTube isn't to collect applause, it's to create a conversation. Views are nice, subscribers are nice, comments are nice. But I have never attended a settlement where the title company handed me a check for 14,000 views. Eventually, somebody has to become a client, and that's what we're looking at. Now, we're going to remove one of the biggest excuses realtors have for not doing this. I don't have time. Artificial intelligence can take an enormous amount of friction out of this process. And I want to be clear what AI should do. AI should not replace your knowledge. It doesn't know your marketplace the way you do. It hasn't sat across the table from 800 sellers. It hasn't shown 50 houses in Bethlehem and discovered which streets buyers like. That's your value. But AI handles all the repetitive stuff surrounding your experience. So before filming, use ChatGPT or Gemini to brainstorm topics. You might say, I'm a realtor specializing in Lake Wallenpaupack. Can you come up with 30 YouTube video topics targeting relocation buyers, vacation buyers, and sellers? And 20 seconds later, you've got a starting list. And then say, take topic number 7 and create a 12-minute outline of a video. Give me a strong opening hook, several talking points, and a call to action at the end. Now the blank page is gone. You've got something to talk about. AI can help you create your title, your description that you're going to post on YouTube, your chapters, your social posts, your email copy, and we're going to get to a blog article in a minute, your thumbnail concept, all those thumbnail pictures that I put on Teresa's page yesterday, all came from AI. And if you want a more polished video, tools like Descript are a little bit more pricey, but they can help you edit from the transcript. Did you say something stupid? You can delete words from the transcript and that part of the video disappears. So as you get better at it, you can actually use other tools, but frankly, you don't need them. You can also use tools like Opus or Submagic, which is not very expensive. They can take your long form 10 or 18-minute video and create short clips out of it. So the philosophy is simple. You create the experience once. You record the 15-minute video. AI helps you cut it down and package it many times. So you're not trying to become a professional video editor. We're realtors. If you're spending 4 hours choosing a transition effect between the kitchen and the dining room, something has gone terribly wrong. The AI should make it easier. The enemy isn't mediocre editing. The enemy is never publishing the video in the first place. So phase 3 of this is taking that 15-minute video that you now posted to YouTube, having Opus or something else, carve it up into 5 shorts, and take those shorts you've created and share it everywhere. TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, LinkedIn, and X, because that'll lead them back to your long-form video. And this is where the strategy starts getting really interesting. We're no longer making one video. We're creating a content source. Let's say you record one 15-minute video, 5 things you need to know before moving to Bethlehem. That one long-form video goes on YouTube. Then we run it through one of the AI clipping tools. Some of them give you a free 30-day trial. Maybe get 5 or 10 or 15 short segments. One clip might be the biggest surprise about Bethlehem property taxes. Another one it might pull out is the neighborhood buyers overlook. And this does it automatically, by the way. Another one might be a commute mistake new residents make. And those become YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels, or you can put them on TikTok or potentially an X. And take the original transcript and ask AI, turn this video into a 900-word blog post that's search engine optimized for my real estate website. Now you've got a written blog. Or turn this into a 250-word LinkedIn article. And then put that on your Moxie site, but embed the video from YouTube in it, okay? Then write a short email to your entire database teasing the 3 biggest takeaways and send them to the blog. But you can go to AI and ask it. I'd like to write an email to my database, my contact management people, everybody on my phone, based on this video, this blog post, teasing the 3 biggest takeaways. It'll create the email for you. Then you create a 5-point buyer checklist from this. All that becomes a lead magnet. And that all happens from one camera session to potentially dozens of touch points. And that's what I mean by omnipresence. Nobody has to know what Tuesday afternoon between 2 and 3, what you recorded as a source material for virtually your entire week. The consumer, they just see you everywhere. And eventually they start thinking, every time I have a real estate question, this person's talking about it. And that's exactly where you want to be. You don't need to spend your entire life creating content. You need to create one good source piece a week at least and make it work harder. Realtors understand leverage, and this is leverage applied to marketing. Now, here's an important distinction. When somebody discovers us organically, on YouTube. I'll finish up in about 5 minutes. Fantastic. They're already on YouTube. Let them watch it there. But when we own the audience, our database, everybody who's in our Moxie contact list, our past clients, our sphere of influence, our prospects, we don't want to send them out of our ecosystem. We don't want to send them to YouTube. Because if you send them to watch my new video and they go to YouTube, they click on it and they watch the video, which is great. But as soon as it's finished, YouTube says, excellent, here are 7 other realtors you might enjoy. And a kitchen renovation channel and breaking news. And for some reason, science can't explain, a gentleman reviewing leaf blowers. Now I've spent years building this relationship and I've delivered it to somebody else's shopping mall. So instead, take your YouTube video, embed it in your blog post on your website. And now when you send your email to your sphere of influence, your social network, your past clients, you say, I've posted a new article and video about 5 things buyers should know before moving to Bethlehem. Please share it. They click on it and it goes to your website and the video's on your site. But there's also your telephone number, your biography, your listings, your buyer guide, your seller guide, and so on. So you want it there on your site. It still adds to your ranking on YouTube. So again, rather than sending your database to YouTube channel, create a blog post on your Moxie website, embed the video. It's actually pretty easy to do that. We'll talk about it in another training. And then email your entire database with a link back to your blog. The user watched your embedded video, sees the lead magnets and contact forms, and that traffic's interrupted. So here's a sentence I want you to remember today. Your website is the house. YouTube is the road sign. The road sign's tremendously important because it helps strangers find the house. You probably shouldn't move into the sign. You want to search exposure from YouTube and ownership from our website. That's what we call a closed loop strategy. Create on YouTube, distribute widely, but whenever possible, drive the audience back toward your own digital property, which is your website. Now, we come back to the part that everybody loves, which is consistency. There's no magic button in this entire presentation that replaces showing up. Our minimum goal is 1 long-form video per week. If you're serious about accelerating the content or the channel, work toward 2 or 3. If you want to become extremely aggressive in the marketplace, you can eventually push towards 5. You can go out on a Saturday morning and film 2 or 3 of them. Film a video walkthrough, film something from your kitchen table about the market. But don't make the classic realtor mistake of hearing 5 videos per week, getting extraordinarily enthusiastic, recording 9 videos in the first 12 days and never posting again. Because it actually hurts you in the ranking. I'd much rather you publish 1 every Wednesday for a year than 5 this week and disappear until Thanksgiving. The strategy material talks about the first 10 to 15 videos as an important period of building the algorithmic history for Google and your own confidence. There's another factor most people don't talk about enough. You get better. Your first video might be awful. Congratulations, you've joined a very large club. You should see some of my early stuff. It's terrible. The second one is going to be slightly less awful. Post it anyway. By number 5, you're going to stop staring at the camera like you're recording a hostage video. And by 10, you might start sounding like yourself. And by 15, suddenly it's not terrifying anymore. And that's why repetition matters. This is where batch filming saves you. Pick one day, record 3 or 4 or 5 videos, and you've now got a month of weekly content sitting there. Because we all know what happens otherwise. Wednesday arrives, you've got 3 inspections and a settlement blew up. Somebody's appraisal came in low. An agent called to ask questions that were answered in email 2 days ago that didn't read. And suddenly YouTube isn't happening. And batching removes that problem. And consistency, again, beats intensity. 1 video a week forever is better than becoming Steven Spielberg for 12 days. So let's make this practical. If you're sitting there thinking this is great, but where do I start? Here's your first month. Week 1, build the channel. You can do that today. Choose your market, choose your channel name, create a banner in Canva, or you can even ask ChatGPT to create a banner for you. Write an AI-assisted bio on yourself, but more on the market you're trying to target than you. Create those 3 or 4 playlists. Even with no videos in yet, create the playlists. And build the first 20 keyword ideas. That's a foundation for your site. And please, don't spend 3 weeks choosing a shade of blue for the banner. The internet's going to survive. Week 2, film 4 videos. I'd start with a mix. Walk through 2 properties. And if you don't have any listings right now, that's okay. I'm sure somebody else in the company would let you walk through their listing and do a video. I think it'll be just fine because they'll probably not do it. 1 market update. Do a market update video. What's happening in the market? and do one buyer or seller educational video. 2 properties, one market update, one buyer or seller educational video. And now you've immediately given YouTube several clues about what the channel is supposed to be. Week 3, you start packaging and publishing this. So you ask AI what's a good title and what's a good description that is going to help me to rank. Have it create a thumbnail for you of the property. Have it create a blog post for you. Have it figure out what a good call to action is for you. And email at least one of these posts to your entire database because you want to reconnect with everybody you know. And week 4 is try and get into repurposing and measuring. Turn that long form video into shorts or reels. Have AI do it. Look at your analytics. What got clicked? Where did people stop watching? What topic performed better? Did anybody actually call? Probably not yet, but it will happen. And then take everything you learned and build the next 20 topics. And notice what I didn't say anywhere in this plan. Wait until you feel comfortable, because you never will. Comfort generally arrives after competence, and competence arrives after repetition. That's the whole thing we talk about when we do listing presentations. You do them over and over and over again, and you become reflexive. You become very good at it. But if you're not doing it consistently, you don't get good at it. So the rule for the month is launch ugly and then improve. Not catastrophically ugly. We're still licensed professionals, but good enough, and published beats theoretical magnificence every time. So it doesn't matter how bad it looks in the beginning. Here's another look at the 30 days. Set up, batch film, publish them at least one a week. Might do 2 the first week. And create blog posts written from the transcript and repurpose them. Lauren, I don't have time for all this. Oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. How much time do you waste now? Some of you are showing 3 houses a week. There is time out there for you to do some things that are going to be productive. Again, I want you to start doing the 1-a-day CMA with Zillow. I want you to do that every day. But this is something you can build for more long-term business, and that's part of what I'm trying to get across. I want to make this assignment small enough that nobody has an excuse. A channel with no videos is still a channel. The psychological barrier is the setup, not the filming. So if we at least get the channel up, you'll at least get started, and then we can start talking about what to put in there. And probably the simplest slide, the last one of this entire presentation, is action solves everything. Not every marketing problem. That would make this slide dangerously overconfident. But it solves the biggest problem most agents have with video. The problem is they never start. We spend too much time trying to be ready. We go out and research the best equipment. We try working on our branding. We try losing 10 pounds so that we look better on camera. That'll never happen for me, unfortunately. We're going to wait until we get a better listing. We only have a row home in downtown right now, and we really want a $1 million property to videotape. For God's sake, don't do that. We're going to wait until business slows down. Incidentally, if you're waiting until there's nothing happening in real estate before you start marketing, then that strategy may have a flaw. Here's what I want you to remember. Every piece of content you publish will outperform the piece of content that you never publish. Maybe video number 1 gets only 38 views. Fine. Maybe one of those 38 people owns a house, and maybe they tell somebody, and maybe 6 months from now, that same video gets found in a search. Maybe AI encounters your article. Maybe Google indexes the blog post that you created from that video, and maybe somebody watches 4 of your videos before they ever call you. That's common, and that is what a lot of these top agents talked about in California. So you don't know which piece is becoming the doorway, so we build a lot of doorways. Because the goal here isn't to win YouTube. It's not to become an influencer. It's not to have 1 million subscribers. The goal is to become disproportionately visible and trusted in the geographic market where you actually want to make money. Let me say that one more time, if I can remember the words. The goal is to become disproportionately visible and trusted in that geographic market, that small geographic market where you actually make your money. You become the best, most visible person in that marketplace. If you're the agent that keeps appearing when somebody's searching moving to northwestern Lehigh or homes in Hemlock Farms or living in Bethlehem, you've won something far more useful than internet fame. You've become the obvious local authority. So your next step, not 20 steps, is 4 things. Pick a keyword, create 1 video with 1 call to action, and send 1 email out to your database. And do that again next week, and again the week after that. And eventually you no longer have just a YouTube channel. You've got a library of assets. You've got potentially an audience. You become the authority, and ultimately you have a lead machine. So I want you to hit record. Now that is my talk for today. I know that went a little longer than I wanted to. But I'm hoping that some of you got a little bit out of that because it is really powerful what some of these people said. I didn't realize when I was out there what I might have been doing wrong. And listening to some of these agents who said, I started 14 months ago doing this and I paid my coach. By the way, they're paying their coaches $1,400 a month to coach them to make them do these things. And my coach every week said, did you do your video yet? Did you do the one a day CMA yet? Have you done that? And so these people who did it consistently all did well with it. It took 3, 4, 6 months to start building momentum, but it eventually worked. And one person after another got up and said, this is what happened. And the one who stood up and said, now he's been doing it for 2 years, he said, I have gotten $5 million in closed commissions, $5 million in commissions in the last 12 months. And I attribute it primarily to YouTube. I'm thinking, oh Lord, I've been doing something wrong. So I want you to think about that, and hopefully this is going to be helpful to you. So start thinking about building a channel. And by the way, those of you who speak both Spanish and English, maybe you start a channel in Spanish and a channel in English, right? Something that'll help you to build that network, that foundation. Before I log off, because I actually am doing a commercial class in about 15 minutes, what questions does anybody have? You can
Lauren,
ask almost any.
that
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
absolutely amazing. This is great information. It's a lot. It's like drinking out of a fire hose right now, honestly, but you broke it down
Yes.
to good, easy steps to start out with, so we're just not overwhelmed to do it all at once. A question for you though is with doing like the home tour videos, with that, like for the amenities of Hemlock, I'm able to talk about Hemlock Farms. There are so many amenities in there. Is that something like shoot the amenity video and then add that on at the very end of the home tour video, or just leave it the home tour video?
Believe it or not, they suggested, now you can't really do this in Hemlock Farms because it's too big, but they suggested if there are amenities close to the house, walk while talking down to the amenities because Google actually gives you a benefit for uninterrupted video,
Hmm.
which is kind of interesting. I don't think you can do it that way. I think you would have to film the amenities first and cut to them. I think that's the only way you could probably do it in that kind of development. But their suggestion was try and make it a seamless video straight through and talk as you're walking to it.
Like you said, that seems like an awful an awful long time to talk,
Right.
depending, especially depending on the size of the house. Um, so there's another question for you. Okay, so with my YouTube channel, which I have one, just don't use it yet. I have it. My YouTube channel name is Home Sweet Poconos. Is that too generic, or is that okay for a channel, but then do like Homes of Hemlock Farms or Living in Hemlock Farms as a different channel, like
I'd
multiple
probably
channels?
do a different channel. Yeah, I'd probably do both. Keep the Pocono one up, and you can even repurpose the videos more than one, on each channel. But then I do a specific one to Hemlock Farms, and every video has to have Hemlock Farms built as an example, built into the keywords and everything else. You could also do what's it like living in Hemlock Farms as a video by itself.
Okay, and to really kind of talk about the amenities and all the good things that are
Right.
happening there. Okay.
I think you'll get more views on that than even, a house video. Any other questions anybody's got? I think it's Thursday. We're going to do
Are
a little bit of a different look at the listing presentation. Go ahead.
are you sending you're sending the video, right?
I will. It'll probably be tonight, but yeah, I'll send it out. Yep.
Okay. All
Because
right,
there's
good.
a lot here.
There's
I
a
also could send the
yeah,
slides. I'll probably send you all the slides as well because I try to put a lot of stuff in the slides so you can follow it. So I'll do that as well.
yeah, great.
All right. If nobody has any other questions, I apologize, but I'm going to have to pop off because I have to jump onto one where we're talking about commercial, and then if anybody wants to join us, I think we've got a really interesting way of looking how to approach listings. I think it's on Thursday at 9:30, but that'll be a bit longer. That's closer to an hour and a half plus. So I think everybody will enjoy that though, because it's a really interesting look at how to ensure that you're doing your best to get a listing every time.
Hey.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Lauren.